What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and there's a sale going on right now for the publisher Hype Train, which is quickly becoming one of my favorites as a publisher because a lot of the games they put out I greatly enjoy. If you don't make it to the sale, which ends on the 13th of March, just wishlist some of these or a lot of these if you look under their label, and I guess just wait for the summer sale. The two specifically I want to talk about are Quasimorph and Stoneshard. If you are a big indie game fan, you might have heard of Stoneshard. It's been out for a while in early access, but there's also Quasimorph, which is a great game too. I'm going to start with Quasimorph. The game is thematically like Doom crossed with Escape from Tarkov. You are a cloned super soldier fighting against people, but also aliens and monsters that can show up. And it's all done in the background of exploring the solar system and being a PMC. There are multiple classes, multiple builds you can do, and the gameplay is top-down, turn-based. One of those turn-based games where every single movement you do, like every step, every reload. Along with that, it is a dungeon crawler with a lot of inventory management. The game has a very big emphasis on crafting, so if you don't find items that you can take and use right away, you can break everything down into raw parts and eventually craft it into different stuff later. The game has a very deep meta progression system with upgrading. You can upgrade your ship to do different stuff. You can upgrade your base characters, give them extra stats and stuff like that, get more things to craft. And what I like most about it is, despite being very deep and extensive, you actually don't need it for the majority of the game, at least not the character altering stuff. All the other things like the ship upgrades that help you do missions better, those are great to have at any time, but you don't have to start pumping up your base characters, you know, since at least most of the time on normal, I haven't played a lot of hard yet, but on normal you can get by with gear for a long time. There's a huge emphasis on the faction system. When you start the game, there is a tab where you can see a whole host of different companies and power brokers fighting for influence, technology, and position in the solar system. They're constantly fighting one another to get better positions, and who you decide to help has a big impact as far as the game goes. If there are factions you like the stuff that they can give you as rewards for missions, you can keep working with them, help them get their technology and power level up. Or if you want to take a more even-handed approach, you can just keep working with everyone over time and try and build stuff up that way. There are various mission types, and a lot of them have mirrors of each other. For instance, a defense mission where one company is trying to take over the space station of another has you defending all of the points from waves of enemies. If you play the flip side of that mission, you can become the conquest version where instead of defending everything, you're trying to take all of it. There are a lot of little examples like that, and there's even a faction dedicated to the Quasimorph aliens that live on Venus. So if you want to partner up with the Mayan, Aztec style faction of space brutes and run around chopping people's heads off, you can do that too. With the faction system comes a trade system where you can take items that you find and trade them with different groups. The amount you get in return, as far as credits go, are dictated by how much they like you. And while you're doing all of this, the prices are constantly fluctuating. There will be plenty of times where it's worth just holding on to high value stuff like gold bars, waiting for the price to go up if you find them early, and then trading them off somewhere to get a lot of credits. As cool as the faction idea is, and the trading, it's a bit bare bones and slightly tedious right now. Something my good friend Ranger, also the channel editor, noticed is that there will be little snippets of lore here and there where the factions talk about each other. For instance, there's a group called the Hexarchs, which talk about the Quasimorph aliens being pure propaganda, as in they don't exist. And so an idea that could be cool would be to, if you wanted to undermine one of these groups, is to get confirmation that Quasimorphs exist, you know, maybe some photos or a bone or something like that, and then show it off. And that way you can weaken one faction while boosting another. Little things like that could be really fun if they decide to go that way. The faction system does add some replayability though, thankfully. So if you want to start off being friends with the Hexarchs because they're just really powerful and they can get you a lot of good stuff, you can do that. Then your next run, you can go full like civil resistance, you know, one of those political actors type organizations. And overall, I feel like there's a lot there. Next up is Stoneshard, and I will be quite honest, when I played this game first back in like 2021 or something, I left a negative review. I did not like this game, but I came back for the Caravans update, and I think it's an amazing game now. It plays very similarly to Quasimorph in concept. It's a top-down, turn-based dungeon crawler, inventory Tetris style game, but it's not an extraction game. Whereas Quasimorph just has you take an elevator and leave the mission that you're doing. Stoneshard is open world, so when you get out of the dungeon, you don't go straight back to base, you just go to the dungeon entrance and you have to walk back and interact with the world. Something I really like in Stoneshard is that the builds are very, very customizable. Besides picking different origin characters, which they just added 3 new DLC characters, which I'm excited to play. I haven't tried them yet. There are a ton of skill trees that have various synergies between themselves, and you can take your build any way you want. You can go full melee, full range, go full mage, or mix them up and do something different. Which means that you could probably play this game for a couple hundred hours and still not explore all of the builds that are available even in early access. There's still quite a number of skill trees, at least magic trees, that are not fully implemented yet, so we're still waiting on those. The update I mentioned before is the Rags to Riches update that added the Caravan to the game, and the Caravan is a mobile base for the player. It starts off with just your character and Varen, who is the title character that starts in the prologue. Not really a spoiler, at the end of the prologue he gets an injury that pretty much takes him out of adventuring for the rest of the time. With the Caravan then, it becomes you as the active PMC mercenary working with Varen while he helps do a lot of the administrative backend stuff, like helping you secure upgrades, personnel, deals, and stuff like that. Thematically, it's a really fun update just because everyone likes, well, most people, I should say, like to build up bases. You know, it's a really good feeling of meta progression. You can see the upgrades coming in. It's just very satisfying, you know? And the base is mobile since it is a caravan, so every couple days you can go, all right, we're leaving, we're gonna go, you know, cross the map, go here, and we're gonna camp out there for a while I do contracts. The bit of the story that I know from Stoneshard is really interesting, so I'm curious how the rest of it will play out. And to keep it slightly fresh between runs, the overall map changes a little bit. The general placement of things tends to be the same, but the routes there, the forests and the rivers and stuff like that, all that changes a little bit each time. My major nitpick from when I disliked the game a long time ago was the save system. It's one of those games where you can only save when you go to sleep, so you have to save at inns. Now you can save at your caravan, and they've added bedrolls so you can sleep out in the wild, and there's various camps where you can sleep at as well. When you don't have all of these things, and you're still just running around sleeping at inns because you don't have the caravan, you don't have bedrolls because they're a little difficult to get early on. The game is kind of frustrating because, like, you'll die and it resets, you know, 30 minutes, 60 minutes worth of progress. And you couple this with how weak your character is at the start, and as a new player, you don't know everything, obviously, unless you're watching guides and stuff. It means that the new player experience is really, really, really difficult. However, with that said, it does get better. It's one of those games that kind of punches you in the face a little bit till you get the hang of it. And once you do, it's a really fun gameplay loop. It's very satisfying, and the shortcomings like not being able to save all the time don't really matter as much. One final thing that I will add is that both games have fantastic OSTs, so if you want some ear candy, it will definitely be present. Alright, well, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you enjoy this type of content. Let me know if you are interested in picking up both these games. This is not sponsored. I just want to support a great publisher with some great games under their belt. If you have any other thoughts, throw them down below in the comments, and I'll see you next time.